Teen Talk 1, written by Liskoria. Editorial staff and Dwayne Voorhees. Issue 1. Wish and Dish Lists. What I love and what I hate. We all have strong likes and dislikes. Most of us have a wish list of things we would like to do or to have, as well as a dish list of things we don't want or don't want to do. Some of the following items are particular to their authors, but most would fit onto a universal list. I bet you agree with all of these items. Wish list. Have many friends. Do better in school. Eat more candy, hamburgers, pizza, fried chicken, and ice cream. Wear expensive designer clothes and top brands. Get more attention from other people. Win the lottery. Always have the latest cell phone. Play computer games all night. Be famous. Be the star on a winning team. Dish list. Get up early every morning. Listen to your parents nag. Read boring books. Jog and exercise more. Do homework and study harder. Get blamed for things you didn't do. Brush your teeth after every meal. Break old habits and develop new skills. Stay at home all the time. Worry about the future. Was I wrong? Are there any items you would remove from either list? What else would you add to both lists? What does it mean? 1. Particular to their authors. 2. Fit onto a universal list. 3. Dish list. Comprehension. 1. What wager did the author make? Did he win or lose? 2. Of the 10 items on the wish list, how many do you have now? What are they? 3. Out of all the dish list items, how many do you have to endure these days?
Teen Talk. One. What do you love to do more than anything else? 2. What is your biggest pet peeve? 3. The things we love to do, what do they have in common? 4. What joint characteristics do the things we hate to do have? 5. What would happen if we only did the things we love? What would happen if we never did any of them? 6. What could you do to improve your life? 7. What is the first step in giving up something you love but is bad for you? 8. How would you begin to do new things which are good for you but you hate? Give examples. 9. Good habits, bad habits. These are the sum total of our lives. Can you explain what that means? Do you agree? 10. How many of the things on your wish list would your parents put on their dish list for you?
Opinion samples. 1. What do you do every single day without ever actually thinking about doing it? Whatever you answer, if you always do something more or less automatically, it is habitual behavior. It may be some good practice, such as getting up at a certain time, taking a bath or shower every day, or eating a healthy breakfast. Or it may be something less beneficial, like spending many hours every night playing computer games or talking to friends on the phone. But you engage in this activity because it is something you always do, not because you have to think about it anymore, not because you decide that it is necessary or useful or even fun. Nevertheless, performing these thoughtless, robotic acts, whether good ones or bad, is how we spend most of our time. And it is very difficult to stop doing them, even if we become aware of them.
Questions. 1. In your own words, define habit. 2. What good habits do you have? Do you have any bad ones?
2. I first became interested in sailing when I joined a sailing club in college. I thought I would have a passing interest in the sport, but I was absolutely wrong. Sailing became one of the ruling passions of my life. I have crossed the Atlantic 3 times and the Pacific once, and I'm currently planning to sail around the world solo. Even though the expenses and the need for constant upkeep have stretched my financial resources for my entire adult life, I have never regretted my love affair with sailing. The feel of the tiller, the touch of the wind, the yellow sun glinting against the blue water are sensations I have never tired of, except once. That was the time when I lived in a houseboat and gave up my job, deciding I'd spend the rest of my life on the water. I would rent out my boat to tourists and fishermen and get paid to skipper it. That was a big mistake. When I was sailing every day, and especially when I was doing it for money, I began to get bored with it. The old thrill started to fade. After 6 months, though I was making a good living financially, I was ready to get a divorce. I sold my boat and moved as far inland as I could. That too was a mistake, and I soon became dissatisfied with the landlubber's life. But I learned something important. If we only do the one thing we love, there is no contrast that reminds us of our joy in doing it. But if we never do that thing we love, life becomes meaningless.
Questions. 1. Would you like to take a voyage someplace? Where? 2. Do you have a strong passion for some activity, such as baduk or golf or sports? What is it?
Dialogue. Did you watch the football game last night?
I wanted to, but I had a lot of homework.
That's too bad. It was really exciting to the very end. I thought my team was going to lose, but somehow they managed an upset. I was very happy at the outcome.
I wish I could have seen it with you. That would have been fun.
Did you finish your homework?
Almost. I still have a little bit more to do.
Can I copy what you have? I didn't have a chance to do any of it.
Why should you get to have all the fun while I have to do all the work? That's not fair.
But we're friends, and friends are supposed to help each other out. Just remember how many times I've come to your aid when you really needed help.
That's true. But whenever I've needed your assistance, it was only after I had tried to do something myself but failed. I've never asked you to do my work for me, just to help me figure out how to do it on my own. That's a big difference.
How is that any different? You don't want me to fail this class, do you?
Of course not. But if you merely copy my homework, how are you going to be able to know how to answer the questions on the test? Getting a good grade on the exam is a lot more important than getting good homework points.
But I can study your answers and prepare for the exam that way.
But the point is that we had the same opportunity to make the same choice last night. We could have both watched the game, or we could have both studied. You made one choice, and I made the other one. So why should you get all the benefit from our respective choices, but I had to do all the hard work?
You're right. I'm sorry. We should have planned ahead. Maybe we could have both done half the homework ourselves and watched the end of the game together, and then we could help each other understand the part we didn't do. That would be fair.
That's a good idea. Why don't we do that next week when the game is on? You can come to my place and eat with me.
Okay. I'll bring some pizza or something.
My parents always say, things which are fun and easy to do are no help for the future. But sharing work with you and having fun together at the same time seems like a very useful way to enjoy ourselves.
I agree. And I'm really looking forward to doing this next week. But meanwhile, I still need the answers for last night's homework. Can you help me out just this once?
Questions. 1. Why didn't Joe finish his homework? 2. Should Fran help Joe? Explain your opinion.
Read and discuss. My life as a rebel. My rebellion started in earnest when I was 16. I was against anyone in authority, especially my parents and my teachers. I only did what I wanted to do, and of course mostly what I wanted to do was what the adults around me told me I shouldn't do. As time went on, I kept getting into bigger and bigger jams, one after another. My dad told me I needed discipline, and sooner or later I would get it, he said, whether in the army or in prison. But of course I laughed in his face. Because of the alcohol and drugs, I was in a fog a lot of the time. Somehow I made it through high school, but it didn't take me long to flunk out of college. So naturally I went into the army. My dad was wrong, though. My know-it-all attitude got me a dishonorable discharge in less than 6 months. I couldn't find a job, and quite honestly, I didn't look very hard for one. After all, working is certainly no fun. It didn't take me long to get into trouble with the law, but I was lucky once again. I got off on probation. I only got into another, bigger mess, and this time the judge gave me 12 years. I'm in prison now. I don't have any freedom, the food is terrible, and my only friends are criminals. I count the days until I can get out of here. I hope that my father was right after all. Maybe the army didn't give me the discipline I need, but maybe prison life will. There is nothing I want more than to get out and try again to make a different kind of life for myself. The point I want to make is this. Even if you don't agree with your parents, listen to them. They were once your age, even if it was a long time ago, but you haven't gotten to their age yet. So they know more about things than you do, because they have twice as much experience. When people who care about you tell you something, maybe you should listen to them. Now that it's too late, I realize I was wrong about all the important things. Yes, Mr. Rebel Man, I hear your scorn and your ridicule. Laugh if you want to, just like I did. After all, you know better than everyone else, don't you? But when you end up behind bars, who is the joker then?
Questions. 1. Do you know anyone who seems likely to end up like the narrator did? Do you have any advice for that person? 2. Why do teens usually go through a rebellious period as they grow up? 3. On the other hand, many of the people who have the greatest success are the same ones who refuse to conform to the society they grow up in. How can we tell if going against the grain is likely to lead to good or bad results?
Pictures talk. One. Questions. 1. Why do teens easily fall into bad habits but have difficulty forming good ones? 2. Explain how your good habits lead to success and how your bad ones may have negative effects on your life. 3. Even good habits may have harmful effects if performed immoderately. Can you think of any examples?
2. Questions. 1. Would you want to return to a younger age? Why or why not? 2. Do you want to grow up soon? Why or why not? 3. Compare your responsibilities with those of your parents.
What's your advice? 1. I need your advice. I am a good student with many friends at school, and an active participant in sports and other activities. My problem is my father. He wants me to be a lawyer so I can make lots of money. But I don't have any interest in law at all. I want to become a teacher, even though I know I'll never get rich doing that. The better I do in school, the higher my dad's expectations rise. So, what can I do? How can I make both myself and my dad happy?
2. My life is a mess. I live with a single mom, so we don't have much money or a nice home. I am not good looking, and I don't have any close friends. My grades are poor, and I have no interest in anything in particular. A long time ago, I gave up thinking that things will get any better in the future, but I still worry about it. What if they get worse? Is there anything I can do about my situation?